Alright guys, so in this video we're going to go over just the basics of the bow and arrow cast. Like I've said in a bunch of these videos, our rods here at Tiny Tenkara were really designed to use the bow and arrow cast. They're much stiffer than traditional Tenkara rods. So the overhand casting action, this casting action is not as great as, you know, the 13, 12 and a half foot Tenkara rods out there, but in terms of using a bow and arrow cast, our rods are unmatched. So when you guys are looking to do a bow and arrow cast, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. One is to set up your rod to do bow and arrow casting. You want to put the length of level line should be the same length as the rod is extended. So today I'm using the Tiny 10, and so I've got 5 feet of level line on here. If you're using the Tiny 10 2, you put 8 feet of level line, and then after that you just put on however much tippet enables you to do the bow and arrow cast comfortably. And by that I mean you've got your rod, you're holding the rod in your arm fully extended like that, and you can pull it back so you don't, just kind of just right in front of your face like this. If it's up here, that's not great, nor if you have to pull it all the way back like this, that's not what you want either. You kind of just want it just comfortably, you can extend your arm all the way and then, hold it like that. All right, so the mechanics of the bow and arrow cast, what you want to do is, first thing first is when you're holding onto the fly, always hold the bend of the hook. That way when you release the fly, it won't get stuck in your fingers or anything like that. So it's super simple cast. You just point essentially just the rod where you want the fly to go. So you can get a feel for this by just like practicing inside, but generally I'm looking at the tip of the rod and using that as kind of the guide for where the line's going to end up. Because when the rod, so you've got the rod kind of flexed like this, and we want about a quarter of the rod flexed like that. We don't want it fully cranked back, nor do we want it just a slight like this. About that top quarter of the rod should be under flex. So what happens is when you release the fly and it goes out, when you have it pulled back that far, it'll kind of just get enough to get the fly where it's going. But if you overflex the rod and pull it back too much, the fly will shoot out and then come back at you, because it's going to bounce off the line when the line is fully extended. It's going to bounce back to you. That's not what you want. So like I said, just this top quarter of the rod, so about like the first 3-4 sections you want flex like that, and that'll give you just enough strength to get that line, the fly where you want it to go, but it won't bounce the fly back at you. That's basically it. If you depending on the way the situation allows, you can bring the fly up high like this and shoot it straight down. You want to shoot the fly farther out. You keep the when you hold it back closer down to the handle. You can always switch arms depending if you're on one side of the creek or the other. But besides that, that's really all there is. So just flick it out. Oh, to get the fly back, because with overhand casting, right, it's really quick, like boom, boom, boom. But if you want to do quicker bow and arrow cast, what I do is, right, so you throw the fly out there and then just raise the tip of the rod up, and the fly will be right at hand. If it's a windy day, what I tend to do is I will actually bring my hand up the tip of the rod like that, and then down, and now I've got the line in my hand, and then boom, I'm right there. And that's generally the motion I'll do, and you can get pretty quick with the casting, using that motion for retrieval. Yeah, that's generally, I think that's all there is to say about the bow and arrow cast.